What's up? I'm Cotton. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. This is Cotton Talks, and today I'm going to be talking about Twin Peaks: The Return Part 6. Can't believe we're on Part 6 already. If you are new to my channel, why don't you go ahead and click on that subscribe button so you're made aware of future videos. And don't forget to hit the notifications bell twice so that you can be made aware of all videos. If you are one of my incredible, fantastic, amazing subscribers, I'm so glad you're here so we can talk about this video, because I want to discuss this with you guys in the comments for sure, because there's so many questions in this episode. If you haven't watched the show, this is going to have a lot of spoilers, so you should probably not watch this video if you don't want to know about any spoilers. I always like to warn people, because I know I don't like to be made aware of spoilers myself. I mean, there's a lot of questions. I know there was for me. Maybe there weren't for you. And if there weren't for you, please let me know. Well, finally, Janie realizes there's something wrong with Dougie. It's like, really? You just now noticed? I think that Janie is going to be a much more complex character as we get further into the show. I'm really ready for Coop to come back. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to move on from the Dougie thing. I'm ready to see Coop.
You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.
I think it's really obvious that Sonny Jim, that's such an oddball name, Sonny Jim. Well, at least I think it's kind of an oddball name. I think he knows this is not his father. He seems to be the one that's most on the ball in this little area of Las Vegas, where the co-workers don't really seem to think much of it. The wife, not too much. She does eventually schedule a doctor's appointment, but that has to be canceled, and so he can't go. That scene with the, the clapper, clap on, clap off, that was golden. That was so endearing and adorable, and you did get the sense that Sonny Jim was really trying to get to know Coop, who obviously isn't Dougie. I really think he knows that that's not Dougie. I'm ready to move on from Dougie. I totally am. Did find it particularly funny though when Janie goes to meet the loan shark gambling people. She just really gives it to them. That speech is hilarious. It was brilliant. Even though they have over $400,000, she sells that like it's nobody's business. She did an amazing job. I'm actually a big Naomi Watts fan myself as well. I love actually all the actors in this series. They're all so good, like the new ones that weren't in the original. They're all really good actors, and it's really fun seeing all these people in these parts, and in particular, Laura Dern as Diane. I can't believe I actually made a prediction that was right. Man, I mean, my brain's gonna blow up. Pew. Diane is very sophisticated and chic with her platinum blonde hair with a cocktail, and well, she just looks very classy, like a classy lady. Or maybe she's not that classy and she's just hanging out there to pick up guys. I don't know. Mike tells Coop from the Black Lodge, wake up and don't die. And you know what? There's quite a bit of death in this episode. I think that was a little bit of foreshadowing. You know what I'm talking about. I just realized that I completely forgot to mention Mike, the Spike, the killer, he was very, very reminiscent of Bob to me. Like, maybe that's one of Bob's hosts, because it was so violent and his expressions were very Bob-like, and the grunting, very Bob-like. Let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, I shut this in my room while I'm editing. In the last episode, Dougie's boss gave him these case files, and it was kind of like, if you don't get this done right, you're fired. Is making interesting marks on these papers, and he's being guided by little sources of light, and it's very interesting, and he's drawing something. It makes me wonder if he's drawing like the point of origin of a fire that Tom Sizemore's character was like, oh no, it's not arson, it's we have to pay them, it's fine. I'm very curious about what exactly that is and what exactly he drew and what it means, because it really struck a chord with his boss, because he was like, don't you talk about this with anybody. Don't you say a word, Dougie. And I don't think he's gonna have to worry about that. I also find it interesting that Balthazar Getty seems to be the eccentric drug lord of the area. He was very fun. He had a very fun episode with the whole coin toss with Richard Horne. I think Richard Horne is going to be a extremely interesting character. I think he's gonna be a big player, like I said in my last video. And well, he has a big accident. I mean, I know Twin Peaks is, you know, has always had some violence in it or everything, but there was just something that was so horrific about seeing that child hit by his truck. I mean, it's a horrible act in itself to kill a child, but there was just something extra horrible about it. And I think it was maybe because it was much more realistic. And in the world of Twin Peaks, it's not the real world. Lynch, it just injected the real world into that scene and into that part. And it was fascinating that it was so, like, it really upset me. I was really upset about that. And what was really interesting after that, and the mother is just sobbing and all of that, we see Carl, who owned the trailer park that Teresa Banks used to live in. He is sitting on a bench while this whole ordeal unfolds, hit and run, and he sees a flicker of gold and there's power lines. So we have the electricity thing once again. And even when Rich Horne pulls over his truck to check it out and do a really poor job of trying to clean it up, we hear those electrical type sounds. So that the electrical motif just continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And once again, we get to know that Deputy Chad is a complete douche. I can't stand him. He's so mean. I mean, come on. Frank's son is a veteran that killed himself. That's tragic. And he's like, he couldn't handle war. What's wrong with you, Deputy Douche? Plenty. I mean, you're a cop and you're selling drugs. Hello, you've got your own issues. I don't think you should be passing judgment on anybody on any level whatsoever. Maybe he won't make it through the series. I wouldn't be too sad about that. Let's talk about the Buffalo nickel that Hawk finds in the ladies' room. I guess he feels like he can have a little more privacy in the ladies' room. Falls out of his pocket, rolls, leads him to a stall. And it also happens to have the name of a Native American tribe on the stall wall. And there are some screws and stuff missing. Something's missing. So Hawk proceeds to start to take it down. And of course, Deputy Douche Chad comes in and is like, what are you doing, Hawk? I like to come in here. Blah, blah, blah. Well, we know what you're coming in there to do because I've seen the magazines. I know what you're doing, Deputy Douche. So he pulls it down, and what do we find? Stuff like this. Paper. This is my theory. I think it is possible that Laura may have put those there because we do know, like, she had the hidden diary. She had the tapes that she hid for Dr. Jacoby, and it wouldn't surprise me if she hid something somewhere else. Especially because in Fire Walk With Me, she had a vision of a dead Annie laying next to her saying, the good coop is stuck in the lodge. Write it in your diary. I'm thinking that's where that's going to tie together. I find it really exciting and very intriguing. I kind of wanted more to happen in this episode than it did, but it was a good episode. But I'm just really, really ready to have, you know, good old Coop back. I really am.
This is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.
It seems like the people that have returned from the lodge have abilities, whether it is seeing something, like Carl, who I found out from a friend of mine who's read the books about the secrets of Twin Peaks, that Carl was abducted into the lodge by somebody the same time like around the log lady was, and so you know he can see things. I thought that was very interesting because like he saw like what I would assume would be the soul coming, you know, rising out of that child by the power lines, which another thing of electricity being a conductor to the supernatural and the other realms, lodges, whatever you want to call it. I really enjoyed this. I am just dying every time it ends and I'm ready for a new episode. This one did end once again in the Roadhouse with some music. I'm also so stoked to meet Diane. I was very excited when I heard that Laura Dern was cast. She's been in some amazing David Lynch movies. So I was just like, I bet it's a really good part. And seeing her as Diane, that's gonna be fun. And I love the look. It's a great look for her as Diane, and I can't wait to see what Diane is like, because we just know the one-ended relationship of Coop dictating to Diane. So that's gonna be really interesting, and how she's gonna play into all of this and to help finding him and bringing him back. Albert always makes me laugh. He's another one of those characters that I really enjoy watching. And he's so sarcastic. Like the comment he made about, you know, there's nothing like going into a bar in such and such degree temperature and while it's raining. He's so smug and he's so like sarcastic. He's just funny. I really enjoy Albert and Gordon scenes. They're so fun. I think the character Red that's played by Balthazar Getty, who is one of the Gettys, like heir to the fortune, the massive billion fortune. I think his part is going to be interesting as well, because he was also in another Lynch project as well, and we've already seen him twice because Shelley was making eyes at him and he was making eyes at her at the Roadhouse, and I think part 1 or part 2. And I'm just really intrigued. There's so much happening. Honestly, I don't feel like this was the strongest episode that we've seen so far, but I am really looking forward to what comes next. With Twin Peaks, the bar is set so high that when it falls a little bit short, sometimes we feel a bit disappointed. But when you compare it to another show, it's like this much better. And I also enjoy that it's not all explained to us. You know, we have to think about it, and we can talk to each other about it, and I can talk to you guys about it, because none of my friends watch the show, which is another reason why I started this series on this brand new channel of mine. I was like, so I want to talk about this with other people. Let's start a channel. Alright, I'm Cotton. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will have all of my information down in the description box down below if you want to follow me on social media and check out my other channel. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I'm pretty much on everything. So except for I don't spend time on Facebook. I'm not really a Facebook person. If you definitely want to chit chat about Twin Peaks, definitely send me a snap on Snapchat, because that's the best way for me to communicate with you guys, is through Snapchat. And I'll have my username down in the description box, or I'll just put it on the screen up here. I'll just put my username up here on the screen so that you will know what it is if you want to chat about this episode and about future episodes, what we think is going to happen. I am Cotton, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, you guys. Cotton's done talking. That sounded so cheesy. I'll see you guys in the next video about the next episode, or possibly something else, because I got some ideas going on in here. My wheels are turning. I hope you guys appreciate my eye makeup. Just saying.